What's up, guys? So we're here for another reaction video for Warhammer 40k lore by Majorkill, and this one is called The Fallen Dark Angels Explained. Now, if you guys haven't seen already, I did post a video of like me unboxing some items from Displate because I ordered a few things, and it's because of like the the franchises and the universes that I've been like exploring because of your guys' help. And since I'm watching like a video about the Dark Angels, I decided to show you guys something. Now I showed this in a other video, but if you guys haven't seen that one, I decided to show it here. So this is what came through Display. This is one of them, by the way. Here it is. It is one of the metal posters that shows the helmet of the Dark Angels. And the reason why I chose the Dark Angels, well, like I said, if you guys like saw the video where I did a Warhammer 40k quiz on which legion I belong to, you'll understand why. And there's a second one. Now this one is also a Dark Angels one. Oh man, I'm trying to like find an angle where there's like no lighting, because the thing is, I paid extra for this to have like a gloss texture, so this thing will literally reflect light, like sunlight, like it's a mirror. But anyways, here you guys go. Here, maybe this will be a little bit better. Hope you guys can see that. But this is basically the second poster I have. I have 3 more posters, but they're not Warhammer 40k. They are Star Wars and Halo. But anyways, now, with that being said, and showing you those 2 metal posters I have, let's jump into the video.
G'day guys and gal. The Dark Angels were the greatest legion hands down. They had deep, rich lore. The Lion is a chef's kiss, and they were powerful as hell. Literally Horus's boogeyman, hence why he sent them
That arm movement.
and then sent the Night Lords to slow them down, rather than attempting to ambush and kill them at the start of the heresy. However, for all their glory, victories, and power, they have a very dark secret. A secret that has actually made the modern day Dark Angels quite pathetic. That secret being the Fallen Angels, close to half of the Dark Angel Legion who betrayed the Lion. The interesting thing about the Fallen, as they are called, is that they are not necessarily traitor marines or have to have interesting chaos. Most of them are actually still kind of loyal to the Emperor and the ideals of the Imperium. However, with some convoluted lore, a bit of chaotic influence, and the Lion having bad social skills, the Dark Angel Legion was fractured, putting the Lion into a 10,000-year coma and destroying the Dark Angel's homeworld of Caliban.
Was the Lion introverted?
Quite fun, and definitely worth the next 10 minutes or so of your life. Before we get started, yes, I've been missing for a week because YouTube banned me for a week. The reason was Timmy. See, Timmy has been gone for a while now, but the little shit keeps haunting me. On a 4-year-old video I made, I went especially hard on little Tim, which YouTube considered to be cyberbullying and harassment towards a minor. Even though Timmy is a 30-year-old fictional man who has 0 testosterone, hence he never appeared to grow up. As you can imagine, the purge of Timmy from old videos has begun, as no joke is worth losing my entire income, job, and livelihood over. In the meantime, if you guys are looking for ways to support the channel, then the best bet is the major minis or the Patreon. Today we'll go over the lore of the Fallen, detailing why they turned against the Lion, what they did, and where they are now. Let's get into it. To uncover the truth
that's a cool
of this
intro.
royalty fiesta, we gotta go back to the beginning. Back to Caliban, which is the only planet that could compete in deadliness level to Catachan. Caliban was a beautiful and lush world, verdant forests, clear skies, and demonic beasts that would massacre the populace. See, Caliban had been cum-blasted by warp energy in the past, which mutated a decent amount of its fauna into semi-chaotic beasts. To combat literal genocide, the people of Caliban created the Knightly Orders, brave men and women who would ride out and hunt down the beasts, or at least protect villages. As they still maintained basic technology, like firearms and low-level power armor, they were able to hold back the beasts, but never really triumph. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because Caliban low-key being a chaos-corrupted world is important and is directly tied to the creation of the Fallen. After millennia of beasts and the knights more or less being stalemated, Primarch Lionel Johnson's capsule crash-landed into the forests of Caliban, forever altering the planet's destiny. Now the lion did eat a bit of shit with his landing site. He was deep in beast territory, so the dude literally grew up punching on with three-headed tigers that shot acid out of their dick holes. Eventually he was recovered by the legendary knight Luther, who would also go on to become the founder of the Fallen. Luther adopted the lion and taught him to be the knight he is today, first as a father, then as a brother. Together they were unstoppable. They brought the knightly orders together and purged Caliban of the beasts. Luther was
So that's why he has the lion.
shining bright despite the shadow cast by the lion. They were inseparable, and this trend continued even when the Emperor arrived and took the lion into the Great Crusade. However, this is where shit went to shit. In one of the early campaigns, the Dark Angels took on a world that had secretly fallen to Slaanesh. As a part of their ruse, the sluts snuck a nuclear warhead onto the lion's flagship, which Luther discovered. However, a deep repressed jealousy within Luther made him hesitate. If he left the ship, let the nuke go off and kill the lion, then he would be the greatest of the Dark Angels. The Legion would be his, and the lion's shadow would be forever gone. See, Luther was a 1 in a billion guy. Without the lion, he still would have changed Caliban forever, likely achieving a great victory over the beasts and being forever known. But the lion is a 1 in a sextillion to the power of my asshole kind of guy, so Luther felt like he had been robbed of his chance of glory. Zahariel, a Dark Angel librarian, also discovered the nuke at a similar time to when Luther changed his mind and decided to help get rid of it. The two Dark Angels ejected the nuke, saving the lion and the Dark Angel High Command. Now the lion never knew exactly what happened. Neither Luther nor Zahariel told anyone about Luther's moment of spurginess. However, the lion is known for his instincts, so while he does suck at dealing with people or picking up on social cues, his gut usually leads him on the right path. You know, except for that one time he got tricked into giving Perturabo super weapons that were then used to devastate loyalist forces, but yeah, nobody's perfect. So following his gut, the lion banished Luther, Zahariel, and a number of other Astartes, both Terran and Calibanite, back to Caliban under the pretense of training more Dark Angels for the Legion. This deeply upset Luther, and as time went on, despite many new Dark Angels being created and sent off to join the Legion, Luther became ever more resentful as less and less communication came from the fleet. Eventually, the name Luther stopped being spoken amongst the Dark Angels under the command of the Lion, and he was more or less forgotten. On Caliban, Luther did what he was ordered to with extreme effectiveness. The Dark Angels became one of the largest legions. However, it wasn't sunshine and rainbows in paradise. Caliban's culture and forests were being torn down to make room for imperial settlements and mechanicus manufacturing. The very soul of the world was being cut down tree by tree. The Lion wasn't a super sentimental guy, so he didn't really give a fuck. But for Luther, this was terrible. At a similar time, a rebellion from the disgruntled knightly orders of old, combined with a chaos demon at the heart of the world that was waking up, made shit real cooked. Luther fell into a deep depression as chaos began to infect his mind with doubt. With everything that was happening, Luther decided that the Lion had abandoned them and didn't give a shit about them. On top of that, Caliban was getting turbo-raped by the Imperium's industry, and it seemed as if the demon of Caliban was actually getting summoned by Terran-born sorcerers. Luther convinced himself that if the Imperium ever came back to Caliban, they would see it as a lost cause and destroy the world. So when Horus began the heresy, Luther quietly seceded Caliban from the Imperium with the support from most of the Dark Angels with him. The Dark Angels who he had trained and raised. Dark Angels who had never even seen the Lion. The idea was that he would defend Caliban during the heresy and wait to see who would emerge as the victor. Then he would treat with them but attempt to maintain Caliban's independence. Now, unlike most times people go full retard and betray the Imperium, Luther and his Fallen weren't these blood-crazed psychos. They arrested Imperial officials and commanders and even showed mercy to Dark Angels that weren't on board, imprisoning them instead. I mean, you know, at least initially. It got a bit more fucked up later on. They didn't just become a chaos cult and start masturbating with sandpaper or some cook shit like that. They also had pretty good justification. Luther and Zahariel had saved the Lion from the nuke, and the reward was banishment and exile. The Imperium was also stripping Caliban bare, literally destroying their world. It's important to note that Luther also wasn't this evil mastermind. He was upset, misguided, and was being subtly nudged by the corruption within Caliban. He never really meant things to go this far. It's by far my favorite lore regarding people turning from the Imperium. Some of the Fallen were embracing chaos, others were loyal to the Emperor but not the Lion, some were just loyal to Luther and Caliban. There was definitely not a united front, which created a lot of cool personal and ideological conflicts. Eventually shit does get out of hand as a loyalist chapter returns from the fleet to Caliban and is killed by Luther and his Fallen, damaging Caliban in the process. Some Fallen, including Zahariel, actually leave Caliban to help the legendary Dark Angel Corswain and the Loyalists protect Terra, further compounding the confusions and complexities of the Fallen's motives. Literally only the Alpha Legion's motives are more convoluted. By the time the Lion returns to Caliban after the end of the Siege of Terra, Luther is too far gone and fires planetary defense weapons at the Lion's fleet. The Lion rages and attacks in turn and duels Luther, who has become a Chaos champion by this point, wounding his old mentor and brother. However, the Lion hesitates before the kill, allowing Luther to lash out with power and wound the Lion. But then the same shit happens. Luther cannot bring himself to kill his adoptive son and brother, so in a fit of rage, the Chaos Gods remove the power given to Luther and they create a warp vortex on Caliban, sucking
That's a
thousands
cool
of
helmet though.
warp, with the Lion being taken to the safety of the rock by the Watchers in the Dark, whilst Luther is taken by the Loyalist Dark Angels. Luther is ashamed of himself, his guilt breaking his sanity. He sees the folly of what he did, wounding the Lion, bringing about the destruction of Caliban and dealing with chaos. The joke went too far. He was then locked within the bowels of the rock. Meanwhile, the thousands of other Fallen that had been sucked into the warp storm were periodically spat out at different times. Some were spat out decades later, others centuries or even millennium. Some are yet to appear 10,000 years later. As I said, the Fallen were not unified under one philosophy. Some of the Fallen fell to chaos. Others think chaos is uber gay, so they have just become renegades or mercenaries. Others even seek out the Dark Angels to repent their sins and face execution. The Loyalist Dark Angels see the Fallen as their greatest shame and have directed most of their resources into keeping their existence a secret and hunting them out. They feel as if the only way to atone for their sins is to capture every single Fallen, have them repent their sins, and then execute them. This has turned modern day Dark Angels into a bit of a sad meme, as they will abandon war zones mid-battle if they get a whiff of a Fallen somewhere else. For his part, Luther has been sitting in that jail cell for 10,000 years, asking for the Lion's forgiveness in fits of insanity. Sometimes he does become lucid and regains his mind for a time, usually when an especially chatty Dark Angels chapter master is promoted and visits him often. However, the truth of the Fallen, that being life isn't black and white and that they had justifications, can be too much for a loyal Dark Angel. With chapter master Mordoran blowing his own brains out in front of Luther after having a manic fit. With the opening of the Great Rift, a demonic horde invaded the rock, which allowed Luther to escape. It is said that he is now marshalling the Fallen to him, forming a large army, but his motives are still unknown. My theory is that upon the Lion's imminent awakening, he will unite the Loyalist Dark Angels back into a legion, which Luther will then confront with his Fallen army. Instead of battling, however, Luther will pledge the service and allegiance of the Fallen to the Lion, creating the most powerful army in the entire setting and setting up the Lion and his reformed Dark Angel Legion as one of the most powerful forces in the galaxy. I'm sure it won't go super smoothly, but I doubt the Lion is going to awaken just to have Dark Angels vs Fallen 2 Electric Boogaloo. Now, a few of you are probably wondering why I haven't mentioned Cypher, who after Luther is the most famous of the Fallen. Well, that's because Cypher's lore is literally Alpha Legion plus level of confusing, especially since there's been like 3 or 4 Cyphers, and half of those have been loyal and the other half have been fallen. And we don't even know the current Cypher's real identity. Is it Zahariel? Is it Corswain? Is it Omegon? So I refer you to my dedicated Cypher video, where we do a bit more of a deep dive into the character and his relation to the Fallen. I just hope to fucking
I gotta check that out.
Go full retard mode and turn the Fallen into another Chaos faction, ruining all of their carefully crafted nuance and complex motives in the process. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then Patreon is the place to be, where there is not only a boatload of Battle Mace 40 million hentai for only $1, but also a bunch of live action nude cosplay shots. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more Fallen content.
Alright, guys, before I forget, before I talk about what's on the video, I just want to say at the end part where he says like join the Patreon and you're gonna see like a lot of nude cosplays. In a way, I don't know why, in my mind I keep on thinking like some sort of like Warhammer 40k like OnlyFans channel or something like that. But anyways, that Cypher video, I might have to check it out because I mean like that actually got me a little intrigued as to like who he is and what it is. But either way, so the Fallen Dark Angels, the reason why they turned on the Lion, so I remember in the past saying like the Lion is the one that can like unify like the angels, the Dark Angels, and they could be like a force to be reckoned with. But the Fallen Dark Angels looks like the motive became because man, I'm really bad with names. I'm really sorry, guys. Like one of them just like turned crazy or depressed and thought like the lion was gonna betray them, or think the lion's not gonna be the right person. But correct me if I'm wrong. Put it down in the comments below. Anyways, one of you guys did mention in my why the Dark Angels are so powerful video that the lion in like the current lore did return, and I actually did find that video on basically online, and it is by Westhammer. Like the channel name is Westhammer, but it's like an hour long, so I'm not gonna be watching that video today. I might watch it later this week, but I do have that video saved, so I'll be checking it out sooner or later. But anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. I almost said episode because of gameplay. That's gonna be it for this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, because I really enjoyed like learning about the fallen Dark Angels, and like how the Dark Angels are so like devoted to like having them repent, and they're willing to leave a battle midway just to like find one. But anyways, again, like I said, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed my reaction to this video, and I swear to God, some of Majorkill's like commentary is hilarious. And thank you so much for your continued support in this channel. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys are having an amazing day or night wherever you guys are, and I'll see you guys next time.